bro, I'd be pissed.
Like if we have to wait, if we have to wait till 2024 just to see that,
I want to see Andor come. Like I just want to see Andor back in action already. Like I just want to see where his story goes next.
Well, yeah, I want to know what's going to happen in that conversation. Like, is he going to pick up immediately after? Does he pick up the blaster again? And, like, obviously he doesn't shoot him, but will he bring him in? Will they end up working together again? Like, what is... Like, was it all a test? Did he just want to get Andor away from the rest of the people so that he could send him on another quest? Or, like, what's the game? Like, that's what I'm really wondering. Is what game?
At the end of the day, they both knew they were gonna be there on that ship. Like they both had
their plans to get there, which I think is so interesting to me.
I just want, I'm just like I really want I don't know, because we know that the rebellion hasn't been fully formed yet. Yeah. And I think we're gonna explore that more in season 2. Where I think, honestly, I think that Luthen and Andor are gonna go on these like mini rebellion adventures where they're
I hope season 2 is just Luthen and Andor just cleaning house, like just going around and just taking out Imperial bases and just like just disabling from the inside. I think that'd be awesome.
Man, that'd be so fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Alright, so I guess I can click the multiplayer button. That's awesome. Welcome FB to Better Call Maul episode 11. I know we took a pretty big break, but we have a packed show for you guys tonight. So we're just discussing Andor right now. We're gonna give our final thoughts on Andor as a show, and then and then talk about the finale, which we're talking about right now. Just kind of scrapping together final thoughts, and then we'll put together our full thoughts on Andor, and then we'll get on to our next topic, which will be our full spoiler thoughts on Wakanda Forever. Because since we're behind on podcasts, we did not get to talk to you guys about where we're at on Wakanda Forever. So let's go. I guess let's go fully more in detail into the finale, and then we'll give our final scores for Andor as a show, as well as what the finale did for us. So you want to go first?
You want to go first?
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
I can go first. I guess I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, you go first. You
so, in terms of so we're gonna be light side. Okay. So in terms of Andor, as a show. Okay, I'm a bit busy at the moment, but I'll be able to come back soon. No worries, FB. Take your time. But yeah. So my thoughts on Andor. I've already loved this show. Like I already thought the performances were great, and I already had a lot of love for it in general. But there were a couple things, like especially with the slower episodes, that I was just hoping that we'd get in the later episodes. I was hoping we'd get some really good stuff happening. And even with the prison episodes being good, there was a couple things like, oh, this just doesn't really do it for me. Like, why do we spend half the season? One of my biggest criticisms of the show is I still don't understand why we spent half the season with Andor in prison. Like I get it from a storytelling perspective, kind of, but I also am like, but bruh, we could have had so many episodes of Andor just like busting fools. Like, so I have two sides of minds on it, because there's one side of me that's like, I want John Wick Andor to just start beating the shit out of everyone every single episode. If that was the show, I would have been down with that. But
yeah,
but on the other side, I also see the nuanced version of it. Like, oh yeah, this is like a rich story showing him from the inside and seeing him be betrayed and everything that happens, and then showing his real despair for the Empire even deepened. And that's what it really comes down to. And that's what's cool about that, is that moment. But overall, I think it's safe to say that even with the slow episodes, you have to consider Andor a win for Star Wars, because it is such a, coming off of She-Hulk and then getting getting fucking Andor is just like, it's like She-Hulk was like a bad dream, and you watch Andor, you watch Andor and you're like, the Messiah is here, and you're just like, wow, like what have I been spending my entire time watching this garbage when I could have been watching this? Like, it's just such a different feeling. And I've seen a lot of people say that it doesn't feel like Star Wars because it's so different, which is totally great to say, but to me, no matter what anybody says, to me it felt like Star Wars, but not the Star Wars that that we had currently known. It feels like it took us back to those Rogue One days, but then also went deeper into certain things, which were super cool. And I was down with it. And I love this finale. I love how this finale opens. I love that we get to see this entire like Imperial base from the outside, the lightning, the shuttle coming down, and then just her coming off the shuttle with the Death Troopers. Very iconic moment. And there were so many scenes in this episode that had cinematic like quality to them that I was like, wow. Like one of my favorite shots in the finale is when Andor is standing out the I forget if it's right when he gets back home but he's just standing in like the corner of like one of the ships and looking down at the thunder and the rain. And it looked just freaking beautiful. I was like, that shot was amazing. I was just like it felt like you were watching a really good spy movie. You were just standing there waiting for the chaos to start happening. And then I love that this episode was what Andor as a show has felt to me. This episode was like, the buildup was so intense that when it got to the crazy stuff, you were ready for it because they built you up for it so well. And I thought that was so cool, just to say that you could build that up and just, it felt good. So I'm going to give Andor, out of 10, I'm going to give Andor a 9. I think a 9 is very deserving of the show, and I'm pretty happy with it.
You said 9 out of 10.
Oh no, let's see. So the finale.
I like that. I think it's
yeah. I think for me, I really liked it. I really liked what it was. I liked the performances, and while some episodes were slow, I just really dug the vibe of the show, and what it does for Star Wars moving forward could be very good. It's a good lesson for Star Wars fans to know kind of what most Star Wars fans should want. And I think that's really cool to have. So yeah, and so I think that wraps my thoughts on Andor. But I'm ready for your thoughts now.
Oh man, you knocked it out of the park, but you kind of stole everything I was gonna say.
I know. You can just piggyback off me. It's fine. I just.
Yeah, it gives us that glimpse that we wanted from Rogue One. You know? It's like, Rogue One was just like the little, what do you call it? Like, you know how you sometimes you taste wine, you're like, you just want to taste wine. You don't know if you like it or not. You go and taste it, and then Andor is like the whole cup. You know, and this is a cup that does not disappoint because Andor is just so good.
It's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Not only visually, not only musically. I love the music in the show.
Yeah, I love the music
cinematically, but I think its two strongest characteristics is the acting, of course.
Yeah, I think that's the crazy
like
thing.
Stellan Skarsgård and Diego Luna.
Yeah.
And then the script, just the whole story was amazing.
Yeah.
The writers on the show just did an incredible job.
I agree. I think they crushed it.
It's out of every show so far, Star Wars show so far, easily has the best writing.
It does. It really does.
I like Mandalorian, of course, just because it's a more entertaining show, and I can watch that show and never get bored. But Andor is just a more literaturely advanced show.
I'm glad you mentioned that because when Andor had that conversation with Luthen at the end, I couldn't stop thinking of Mando when he's like, "You kill me, or you take me in." I was like, "Oh, I can bring you in warm. I can bring you in cold." That's literally what that reminded me of. That whole line. I immediately started thinking of Mando when I heard that.
I like that you say that because it also kind of contrasts. They're both the same and two different characters. Like Mando and Andor are both cold-blooded killers, and they get the job done. But the difference between Andor and Mando is Andor, he fights and he has nothing to lose. Mando, he fights, but he has Grogu with him, and you know it's not only that, but he also is dedicated to his clan. Mando has things to lose. Andor's ready to die.
For sure.
He will give everything because he's like, I have nothing left to my mind. Like there's nothing more I can do. So
I completely
love
agree.
that contrast.
I completely agree with that. I think that's great.
Fucking amazing show. I would give it probably a solid 8 out of 10. I would give it
8's good. So you went one less than me, which is fine.
Yeah. There's a few moments in there where it was like it got a little bit dull, but I think I like when you look in the grand scheme of things, it's a very solid.
I mean, if I really think about it, there's only really 2 episodes that I thought were kind of dull. The rest has been pretty consistent. So I was like, so that's why I would give a higher score, because I felt my enjoyment of it was a lot higher than my not enjoyment of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm looking at more of like, do the positives outweigh the bads? So yeah, guys, if you guys haven't checked out Andor, all 12 episodes are out. Go watch them. They're awesome.
Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus. We definitely think you should watch them so we can have more discussions about the show. I'm gonna try and rank all the Star Wars Disney Plus shows later this week. So that will be fun. The order's pretty obvious, yeah. Like, I think it's gonna be pretty obvious which order I'll do.
Well, which one's that last? Which one this might be a controversial take, but which one is last for you?
I'm probably...
Are we talking live action, or are we kind of the anime one too?
I'm doing live action only just because it makes it easier.
Okay, yeah. Then I know what my last place is.
Yeah, for me, I'm still going probably... Last place for me is probably still... for Star Wars is probably still Book of Boba.
That's...
What's yours? Right. Do you have one that's...
Mine might be controversial. Mine's Obi-Wan.
You hate Obi-Wan more than Book of Boba? Okay.
I don't hate either show. I think both shows are good. See, the only thing with Boba Fett is it's only till the last couple episodes where it starts becoming like a different show.
Yeah.